a lot better where this system is exactly going to make landfall. Okay, so
2020 has been a screwed up year. COVID-19 has effectively killed the majority of this year's Mopar shows. Riots are ramped up in many American big cities. Wildfires are ravaging the West Coast, and for those of us on the Gulf Coast, the Caribbean is hurling hurricane after hurricane at us. On August 27th, Hurricane Laura grazed us going just west of us here in Baton Rouge and served up a devastating blow to our neighbors in Lake Charles. About 3 weeks later, on September 16th, Hurricane Sally was set to go just east of us and hit the Alabama and Florida coast. Here at Mopar Collector's Guide, we anxiously watched Sally's track as we packed our trailer. On September 16th, we made a run straight up the middle of Louisiana, hitting Highway 55 and heading due north just ahead of the storm to Bowling Green, Kentucky, where we were headed to the most anticipated new Mopar show of 2020. This is Robert Wolf from Mopar Collector's Guide, reporting on the hottest new show of 2020, Holley's MoParty in Bowling Green, Kentucky. The Beach Bend facility is no stranger to hosting great automotive events and is the perfect place for Holley to build the new Mopar show. 379 acres of rolling grassy knoll on this site, a campground, an amusement park for the kids and kids of heart, has a wicked cool roller coaster as its centerpiece. Over the next year, you're going to see a lot of action snippets from this weekend on the internet. Holley made sure of that by inviting a plethora of influencers to the event, yours truly included. The difference between Mopar Collector's Guide's coverage of the events and others is that we're going to take an in-depth dive into the stories behind the stories. We've dedicated the entire January 2021 issue to featuring the cars, parts, and people who made this first year's event so special, including great car features, cars in yards, cool shit, cars under construction, toys, and even a look at an original ride shop car that wiped out mid-track during the event. If you're not a Mopar Collector's Guide subscriber yet, don't miss this issue. Call today and get dialed in on all the monthly Mopar action you've been missing. I'll leave the in-depth car stories for the magazine. This video is being done to give you some insight into how this new show came about and how it will likely affect the landscape of the Mopar world order going forward. The MoParty name may already be familiar to hardcore Mopar enthusiasts, but don't make the mistake of thinking Holley's MoParty origins go back any farther than 2020. Phil Painter briefly used it to promote his Mopars at the Strip Show years ago, and more recently Ken Meredith and his family used it to promote a show in Chattanooga, but that show hasn't been held in several years. Personally, I would have liked to see Holley use a more original name. However, by hanging the Holley name on the front of it, I don't think anyone's going to confuse this show with any other show that came before it. Speaking of things that came before, this is also not the first time a Mopar show has been held at Beach Bend Raceway. Classic Events held a Mopar show there way back in 2007. One look around Holley's new MoParty and there's no mistaking it for any other show that has come before. There were ride and drives, an autocross, and drag racing, dynos, and no excuses manufacturers midway, a swap meet, a car show, a general lead jump, and even a mullet contest. This thing was off the chain. Holley partnered with FM3 to produce this show. They are best known for running the wildly successful Hot Rod Power Tour, the Optimum Ultimate Streetcar Series road race track events, and the Roadkill Nights drag racing event in Detroit. If you've ever attended any of the other FM3 shows, it was obvious that they brought their distinctive look and feel to Holley's MoParty. It was like having bits and pieces of all their other shows put into this one MoParty, with the added bonus of not having to navigate past a bunch of boring cookie-cutter Chevys and Fords to get to what really matters to us, Mopars. For 2020, the show attracted nearly 700 cars that I found to be pretty equally split between race cars and show cars, 30 midway vendors, and 44 swap meters. In the Mopar world, that's one hell of a strong start, and I believe based on the car count, puts this show firmly in the number 5 space of biggest Mopar shows. I also believe the buzz is so good coming off this show that everyone who came to this first year show will bring a friend back next year, and then, my friends, it's game on. This show is poised to be a monster going forward. Do you know what the definition of getting lucky is? when preparation and timing come together to create a perfect result. Holley's MoParty first-year success was the result of a perfect storm of hard work and fortunate incidents. The grandfather of all Mopar shows is the Mopar Nationals, and just weeks before it was going to happen in August in Columbus, Ohio, it got canceled because of COVID. Many were left looking for an alternative show to attend. Down south, the Gulf Coast was awash in hurricane rain, forecasted near perfect Chamber of Commerce weather in Bowling Green sucked everybody in to look at the MoParty one last time to see if they wanted to try this new show out. After checking out this first-year MoParty, I think this show is poised to redefine the Mopar show landscape going forward. Holley is approaching this show unlike anyone in the Mopar world has ever done before. This is not a club show looking to donate money towards a charity. This is not even a show with a promoter that needs to turn a profit to survive. Holley tells me their goal is not necessarily to make a profit with the MoParty, but rather look at it as a promotional tool to sell more of their products. To fully understand that philosophy, you also have to understand that Holley is no longer just a carburetor company. They are a conglomerate comprised of over 40 brands, many of which us hot rodders know very well. I'm talking about the likes of Excel, B&M, Diablo Sport, Flowmaster, Hayes, Hilborn, Hooker, Hurst, etc., etc. 11 years ago, Holley created the LS Fest, which is now a monster successful Chevrolet show, where they crafted a business plan that creates goodwill from putting on a show that comes back to them in spades in social and traditional media coverage that in turn sells parts, which is ultimately what pays the bills over there. After dialing up the LS Fest, then they added a Ford event in 2019, so this year's Mopar show was an understandable natural progression. With the exception of Carlisle events, the Mopar show world has never really had anyone in it with the financial power of Holley pushing a Mopar show. Mopar shows have primarily been operated by clubs and independent promoters. For the most part, Holley's MoParty will only add an element of excitement to the Mopar hobby. I don't think any of the long-running shows in the first half of the year will be directly affected by this new show, but it will create a ripple in some of the shows happening in the second half of the year. Holley's decision to hold their MoParty in mid-September solidified Phil Painter's decision to back away from continuing to hold his Monster Mopar show also in September at Gateway International just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. This will now open up the opportunity for the local Missouri club to restart their show in nearby O'Fallon, Missouri. It will also kill the chance for the Music City Mopar show outside of Nashville to grow because of the Bowling Green's close geographic location and superior facility. I also don't think the Music City show is going anywhere. There's a solid group of enthusiastic Mopar guys up there who are not going to let this thing die anytime soon. Without a doubt, the show that Holley's MoParty threatens the most is the Mopar Nationals. Happening only 1 month apart within relatively close proximity, the MoParty offers everything the Mopar Nationals does, and thanks to the Beach Bend Raceway Park facilities, a lot more. My hope is now with Holley entering the Mopar show space, the competition will force all Mopar shows, including the Mopar Nationals, to step up their game to the next level. Irregardless of how this all plays out, there's no doubt that Holley's MoParty is going to add a spark of excitement to the Mopar show world going forward for years to come. This has been Robert Wolf reporting from the center of the Mopar world, Holley's MoParty in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Until next month, I'll see you on the pages of MCG.